And welcome back, guys, to Cheddar Politics. I'm Baker Machado in New York, and we're in the middle of a wave of books, all examining the end of the Trump presidency. Each book takes us inside the final months of the administration, and it also shows us behind the scenes of the pandemic response, election night, and of course that lead up to that January 6th insurrection. And in his contribution to the onslaught, Michael Wolff delves into all these things, as well as the former president's bond with his supporters, and he even sits down with former President Trump himself. So joining us now is Michael Wolff, author of the new book, Landslide, The Final Days of the Trump Presidency. Michael, great to have you here. Thank you so very much for joining us. I mean, the last few months of the Trump presidency, just a smorgasbord of chaos. How do you even start, and where do you even start on a book like this when it comes to your reporting?
A smorgasbord of chaos. Okay, I'll remember that one. You start at the beginning, and you go to the end. So the book starts on actually just before Election Day and goes right up through till the president settles down in Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, so I want to talk about the insurrection in particular, because in your book you reveal, which I think is incredible, that the moment when President Trump says, let's go to the Capitol, that was an ad lib. That wasn't in his prepared remarks whatsoever. Did President Trump...
And the important point, the really telling point about that is that his aides around him, when they heard that, and he said, well, I'm going to walk with you to the Capitol. And all of the aides around him said, what? What is he talking about? He has never walked anywhere. And again, and everyone understood this was just the president, as he so often does, talking through his hat.
Well, so to that point then, Michael, does that indicate to you that President Trump didn't even think his supporters would storm the Capitol? They wouldn't even go there?
Let me make a finer point. President Trump doesn't think about anyone else. It's just not in his worldview for even a second consider the actions or the motives or the intentions of anyone other than himself.
Michael,
I want to, it's writing this book. This is the kind of thing that I was trying again and again and again to get at. Everybody misunderstands this guy because they treat him as though on some level he is in fact normal. On some level, he thinks like everyone else. On some level, he's a political creature thinking about if he does this, then that will be the result. That is not true.
Well, Michael, it then leads to a larger question for a lot of these people I'm sure that you talked to. Why stay in this administration if it is so chaotic and he is such a hot mess? I mean, you write in the book, I want to quote you directly here, you took it up and you put up with it and you tried to make the best of it, not in spite of everything, but because this is what you did. This was the job you had. Why did they stay?
Okay, well, it's important to note that most did not stay. I mean, you've had greater turnover in this administration than in any past administration. More people came in and left sooner than at any other time. So, I mean, I think it's very clear that everyone who has come in contact with Donald Trump understands the situation. They understand it actually better than the rest of the people, than the rest of the Democratic Party who looks on in horror. They understand it because they have seen this personally up close. So as for the last wave of the people there, well, the truth is, even they didn't stay. By the time you get to January 6th, there is almost nobody in the White House. I kind of tried to figure out, literally count how many people were there on that day, and it is no more than a handful. So again, it's another misconception that I'm trying to correct here. It's not that there are all these Trumpers around Donald Trump trying to help him do what he wants to do. Quite the opposite. There are these people around Donald Trump trying to, in fact, prevent him from doing what he might want to do. If what he wanted to do was clear and actually part of a plan, which it is not.
Michael, we also know from your book the election results, the stolen election is clearly all-consuming for President Trump, and that's what he talks about still to this day. And if anything, that's going to be the campaign theme for anybody that wants to get any sort of endorsement from him. Did anybody ever tell Donald Trump that he lost? Did anybody just speak up and say that that's not true?
Well, a couple of other things. You cannot tell Donald Trump anything because he does not listen. So, so you exist if you're around him. If you work for him, you exist in a kind of a weird vacuum of understanding, your uselessness essentially. Or you are useful only to the extent that that you can slow walk or ignore or subtly try to shift whatever lunatic thing the president might want you to do. But in the larger context, and again, this is key here. Nobody around the president believed that the election was stolen, or that he would be able to do anything to change the result. So everybody is kind of standing back, looking at this guy, thinking, we just have to hold our breaths until January 20th, when Joe Biden becomes the president of the United States, and hope that the lunacy of the president, and it's largely an ineffectual lunacy, will not cause havoc. Now, obviously, on January 6th, it in fact did cause havoc.
Michael, based off of your interview with President Trump, it gives me the impression that you believe he is going to run in 2024 for the presidency again.
No. Again, and let me just try to do this. There is that idea that one can plot out what Donald Trump is going to do is a dramatic fallacy. You can't. I mean, he can't. There is no plan. There is no strategy. He has no idea what he's going to do, literally from moment to moment. Is it possible that he runs? It's possible that he will decide to run, and it's as possible that he will then decide not to run. So you really don't know what's going to happen until it happens, and even then, because it only exists in the moment, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So you believe he almost would just say it at a rally just because it came spur of the moment then?
It all comes spur of the moment. It is only spur of the moment.
Fascinating. Incredible stuff, Michael. Incredible book. Again, all three of them really good stuff. Michael Wolff, author of the new book, Landslide, The Final Days of the Trump Presidency. Michael, thanks so much for joining us here on Cheddar News.